Okay, so this is a continuation of that packet. So the question is asking what would a and b have to be so this function is differentiable at x equal 1? So in order to be differentiable, the function must be continuous. So we're just going to do this like it's a continuity problem. So there's 3 steps for a continuity problem, and that would be to find f of 1. Okay, so that's f of 1. Then we're going to do the limit as x approaches 1 from the left side. And then we're going to do the limit as x approaches 1 from the right side. Okay, so this function, in order for the function to be continuous, the limit must exist. The limit only exists if 1 plus b is equal to a. So let's write that. So 1 plus b equals a, and I'm going to erase. Okay, so let's look at the choices. So if you look at choice A, if A is 1/2 and B is 1/2, are these equal? Yes, so 1 is still in the running, but we can't declare it as the winner because what if there are other choices that work? Okay, so I'm just going to put a little check next to A to say it's still in the running. Okay, let's look at choice B. If A is 1/2 and B is 3/2, is this true? No, so that means the answer can't possibly be B. Okay, let's go to C. If A is 1/2, if A is 1/2 and B is any real number, so let's say 5, is that true? No, so C is out. Okay, I'm going to skip for a minute to E. E says there's no values that will work, but we know that A already worked, so it can't possibly be E. Okay, now let's look at D. A equals B plus 1. So A equals B plus 1. So is 1 plus B equal to B plus 1? Well, of course it is. So we're down to A and D. So if those two are equal, that means that any number is going to work. It would be like saying x is equal to x. Wouldn't any real number work? 3 equals 3, 4 equals 4, 5 equals 5. So while A is true, for D, it would include those values for A. So D is the winner, and D is the answer. Okay, number 15. So here's our function, and we need to find the derivative. So that's going to be a quotient rule. So it's the bottom times the derivative of the top minus the top times the derivative of the bottom all over the bottom squared. So that's the derivative. But we're supposed to find the derivative when x equals 3. So we're just going to replace every x with a 3. So since I don't have a lot of space here, if my eraser would work. My eraser's not working. Okay, I'm going to have to write underneath it. Okay, so I'm going to get g of 3, f prime of 3, minus f of 3, g prime of 3, all over g of 3, all squared. Okay, now it's working. Okay. Sorry, this is taking so ridiculously long. Okay, so we need g of 3, so we're going to look at our chart, and g of 3 is 2. And then f prime of 3, you look at the chart, you get 5. minus f of 3 is negative 1, and g prime of 3 is negative 2, and it's all over g of 3 squared. So we get 10 minus a positive 2 over 4, which is 8 over 4, which equals 2. Oh, I think I forgot to give the answer at the beginning, which is choice C. Okay, so this is number 16, and this is just going to be a product rule. So it's this times this. You might want to rewrite that because it would make your life a lot easier to write it as this. Okay, so it's going to be the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. And you can see that this doesn't look anything like the choices. Oh, but we have to find it when x equals 3. So wherever there's an x, we're going to put 3. Okay, and then we'll just start simplifying. And look at that. And then we can continue simplifying. That's Jojo growling. So 3 goes into 6 twice. And you get that. Okay, sorry, I just realized that I changed this to a 3 over below. Let me just change that. Don't know why I did that. Maybe something did not look right, so this should be a 2. So therefore, 2 goes into 6 3 times. Okay, so this should be a 3. Okay, so we get 45. And that was choice D. Okay, so this is number 18. This is just a derivative using implicit differentiation. So the derivative of ln of something is 1 over that something times the derivative of the something okay. And now you're going to have to distribute with this. Okay, so we want to keep all dy dx terms on one side. Move everything else over. Okay, I'm just going to erase up here to make some room. Okay, then you can divide both sides to get dy over dx alone. Okay, and that doesn't look like any choices, so we're going to have to do some simplifying. So this will test our algebra skills a bit. Okay, so remember this is just really a division problem. So it's this divided by this. Okay, but we can't divide fractions, so we have to flip it and turn it into multiplication. Okay, and when you do that, you see that 2x plus y over 1 is really just 2x plus y, so you don't even need this 1. Okay, and then we're just going to distribute that with each of these things. Okay, so when we do that, 1 times 2x plus y is just 2x plus y, minus, and then we're going to get a 2. Let me get a different color to show you. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 times 2x plus y. Actually, we don't have to do that because you can see that these two would cancel, so that's just going to leave you with the 2. Okay, so all I did was distribute, and this is what you get, and that was choice B. And I'm sorry, I keep forgetting to say the answer at the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to do number 19, and then I'm going to stop there. So for number 19, here you obviously can see the picture, and they're telling you there's a tangent line to the curve when x equals -1, so that's this line over here. And we have this function h of x, and we need to find the derivative of h. Okay, so this is going to be a product rule. So it's the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. And we need to find the derivative when h is -1. So wherever there's an x, I'm going to put a -1. Okay, so I'm just going to erase and make some room here. Okay, so e to the -1 is just 1 over e. G prime of -1 we don't know yet. G of -1, so when x is -1, y is 3. And then e to the -1 is 1 over e. Okay, so all we need is g prime of -1. So that would mean that right here I need the slope. Well, it's the slope of this straight line going right here, and of that straight line I have 2 points, -1, 3, and 0, -3. So I'm just going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I get -6. So the slope equals -6, which makes sense because you could see this as a negative slope. So g of -1, the slope at -1 is -6. Okay, so let's substitute that in. Okay, just simplify a little bit. And then those can be combined. And that was choice B. Okay, and I'm going to stop there.